Coorparoo, who of course are high-flying in second at the moment. I haven't checked their score against Southport today, but that game has been live streamed, so if you can dual stream, go for it. But yeah, Yeronga were level with them at half-time, and last week UQ put on one of the highest losing scores. To put 7 goals on a side as a losing side doesn't happen a lot in the QAFLW, and indicates a rising standard, but it also indicates that UQ know what to do when they get in the front 50.
So coming into this game, Yeronga sit winless for the season, and UQ have won just once over Maroochydore in round 2. And you mentioned a couple of big outs, Daniel. Talk me through firstly for Yeronga, because they've got 4 out from last week, but there's 3 big names that they are going to miss.
Yeah, Elise Glynn was just a straight replacement because Pepper Pulteney, the first choice ruck, was available. But anytime you go into a game that you think about winning and then you get told by Lucy Bellinger, Courtney McDonald and Maddie Goodwin, oh, sorry, we can't play, and I'm being a bit cheeky there, but they're all out today, that's going to put a hole in the side. However, there's a saying in politics, never waste a good crisis. We've got some new players in the side today. Rachel Harris is not new to footy, but new to Queensland footy. She'll make her QAFLW debut today. Also some younger players who have made their debut this season. Sienna Wilson, just 16 from Toowoomba, I believe, but she has been making every poster winner this year and looking very comfortable at this level. Kiara Dunlop made her debut last week. We don't know who we're watching now and how big they're going to be in the future, and every now and then as broadcasters, we simply fluke upon the early stages of someone who goes on to be big, and we can say, well, we were there. And of course, that applies to you watching this broadcast at the moment as well.
And conversely, for the Red Lionesses, although they're in purple today, they've got one probably major out, and that is the captain, Maddie Crowley-Long. And of course, an ongoing injury is Lucy Hicks. But they do have 2 very exciting players for netball fans. That is Gabby Simpson and Laura Clemisha, who will start here in the ruck. Netball fans, of course, will know that they are double premiership-winning teammates for the Queensland Firebirds 2015 and 16, and they've both transferred across to football this year. Aren't we just lucky to have all these cross-code athletes come across?
There are 2 feeder clubs for the University of Queensland, the West Juniors and the Firebirds. Gary Dunn will get us underway in the Lime here at Base Architecture Meadows. More in that name in a moment. Jane Childs just busted out of 1 tackle, cleaned up by Chelsea Wynn. Good work in the defence from the captain, Burnett, affectionately known as Killer. Squeezed out from Pulteney, back to Burnett, wrapped up by Clemisha, dropped through to Wynn. She's brought to ground by Childs. All the big names getting involved in the first play.
Great tackle pressure early from UQ. And here's Clemisha in the ruck against Pulteney. Wins that, but no teammate by her sides. Childs goes. Puts it on the boot into the middle. Just can't find anyone quite yet. Yeronga defence straight there, and that one will be taken down.
This ground is the shortest in the competition. It's only about 140 metres, which means 2 things. 1 is slingshot play, and 2, the defences tend not to press as high. So fumbling in the forward 50 for the University of Queensland. These 2 sides fairly even with inside 50 entries this season. It was 96 to 94 in favour of UQ before the start of today. That just landed in the arms of Edie McCabe. Tried to twist out. A little bit of space for Barnett. Handball's outside. The shot wasn't the best from, I believe, Andrews. Out on the full.
In terms of height, UQ spoilt for choice in their rucks. They've got Clemisha and then Coco Garten as the backup ruck. You just saw her there. Looks like she'll interchange. Obviously, Clemisha kicked her first goal last week. So great to know that things are starting to really click for her. Only her first year of footy.
And just to correct myself, that was Livingston with the shot before. What would Andrews be doing in the front 50, honestly?
You never know. They're switching it up these days, Daniel.
True. But no, she's here at left halfback.
So plenty of numbers around the ball. Yeronga, doing well to make good connections. Holding possession. And coming through, Sienna Wilson. Good kick up to her teammate. Goes over the hands, though. UQ on the chase. Attempted bounce, just doesn't quite make it. Goes over Garten. Yeronga, a little twist around. Back into the middle now. Both sides just chasing. Michael Jones just letting it play out.
That was created by Gabby Simpson. Her pass from just centre half forward disorganised the Yeronga defence, and it will end up with a free shot to the former Greater Western Victoria Rebel, Paige Livingston.
Livingston on the right, that's beautiful, and the first to UQ. Just 3 minutes played. That's a good start from the home side. Chasing that second win of the season.
Sorry, Hannah, I just mentioned the inside 50 from Gabby Simpson, which didn't quite find the target, but it was at least able to cause that forward 50 pressure. But the ball was forced loose by a tackle from Josie Hargraves on her former teammate at Cooperoo, Chelsea Wynn. And if you can dispossess Chelsea Wynn, that's sort of step one in unlocking the Yeronga defence. So Clemisha and Poultney with a good hit, but couldn't find a teammate. Nearly got the steal on the follow through. There will be netball terms creeping into even my commentary today. It's infectious.
I won't be mad about that, Daniel.
As Wynn and Childs, whose stats need to be read to be believed, just getting the tangle, and Gary Dunn. Look at us working. Poultney again, tipped down to Childs. She had the kick taken away from her. Wynn connecting well. No one's able to get their foot on the ball as that was charged down by Knife. Moves it wide. Again, clean possessions at a premium, as it was just knocked out by Simpson. But again, it's really inappropriate to say that either side. Childs with a tackle. She's leading the tackle list in this competition by 10 over Courtney Sexton. And depending on how Sexton did in her game earlier today, Childs is either re-establishing or stretching a lead.
Just want to touch on Clemisha and her position here. She started off in the side as forward, but she's been mostly moved to ruck now. And I think that was a really clever decision by Clayfield, because her reach and defensively, she was a defender in netball, has translated really nicely to the footy field.
Good work through the middle from Lee. The handball to Morisuti didn't quite go as planned, but they've got momentum.
Again, Clemisha, beautiful hands. Just puts it right to her teammate. Unable to get it in the air though. And Knife just held down. And the umpire to ball up here. So Pepper Poultney got a big challenge. There we go. Good tap from her. Straight to Lunson. And it'll be a free. Going the way of Yeronga.
Lizzie Hill. Third game in Queensland, but 52nd, I think, overall. Had the target, spotted the run of Charlotte Millen. I'm going to say just outside her range. And that way she can prove me wrong and feel good about herself.
She's got a few backups there. Amelia Lee, she's driving. A little too early, though. So she'll reset. Plenty of moving options there for Yeronga. Keeping on their toes. Flat ball. Henning eats that one up, punches it away. And it's onto the foot. What a fend off there.
Didn't work, couldn't get the fist to the ball, so ended up putting her own team in trouble.
Unlucky. It's a great defensive setup there. Henning always sets it up very nicely in the back line.
Morisuti, we saw get her first goal on Anzac Day. She plays on quickly. Just punched out, didn't have the distance, but she's averaging a goal a game in her nascent QAFLW career. UQ unable to clear. Amelia Lee hovers. Rachel Harris in the outside of the contest. Morisuti inside, cleared by Gracie Roy, who's in the stateside for Queensland. Only got it as far as Lana Lowry. Beautiful to Sophie Dunn.
Really nice structure from the Devils so far.
Mainly a centre halfback under Lisa Milne last year. Just been creeping forward, occasionally playing as centre, occasionally as a key forward. So Dunn with the shot, got the distance, missed the direction, but Yeronga is on the board and will get a repeat entry, so to speak.
Yeronga just floating a little bit. Getting good bounce. Big swing, trying to find the target. Having to chase, though. That's a nice tap to Clemisha. Puts it on the boot. Forces the teammates to run for that one. And it just trails out.
I think it was Gracie Roy who had the sort of the overhead volleyball spike just in front of us before. Kept momentum going.
Not a bad tactic.
For the Violet Lionesses. Maybe not.
Clemisha again just gets a hand around the back. Almost delivered. Plenty of numbers around this one, though. I think it'll be stuck.
Good work from Lauren Middleton, who was basically the only person around 4 Devils, but managed to cause the stoppage and lock it inside 50.
Garton manages to get it to Hewitt. Hewitt's been great in that clearance. She's pretty often getting hands to ball. Sorry, Jane Childs. Wrong number 2.
We all do it.
And speaking of Childs, she's put a foot to it, but it's just gone to the left. So that's the player to shut down so far.
Oh, for anyone playing
Jane
UQ
Childs.
this season, she's won 2 premierships as a winger, as the midfield had players like Megan Hunt, Steph O'Brien, and before that, you know, little names like Brie Conan, occasionally Nat Grider. Yeronga play up the left, cut off very easily by Julia Dawson. Goes for the short kick, saw the option inside, but that was read yesterday by Kiara Dunlop. Looks to be a very strong presence at half back. Be interested to watch her development. Into the contest, hit a array of hands. Eventually out the back towards Garton. Kicked it into no woman's land. Wrong-footed a couple of players. Lowry handballed back, and it'll be brought to a stop on the edge of the 50 through an Edie McCabe tackle.
Lowry, great hands. Yeronga able to move it in the middle. Just need to get it out of that congestion. They're getting a lot of nice possession in the centre channel, but moving it away and getting that space is what's been a little bit hard. Again, Yeronga doing nicely. But who's coming through? It's Knife. Jess Matthews trying to get involved there. Ball's pushed out. So an opportunity here for the Devils. Just one behind so far. And that is just too flat. And Charlotte Russell pushes it out.
Nearly cut off by Wilson, but they get away with it. Or maybe not. Now UQ will regain possession. Jane Childs in her more familiar position of wing. No stranger out there, but a bit of a lucky bounce. It was eventually brought around by McCabe. They move inside 50 with some slick handballs. Middleton putting it into space, looking for the run of Dargy. Dargy into an open goal. Missed it. Is there a second opportunity? There's not, because of Kathleen Mallion's awareness, just able to kick it into the post. And Dargy will have nightmares about that tonight, because football.
I love the effort from Dargy, though. I think this may be her senior debut.
First game this year. She did play one last year.
One last year.
But still plays under 17s for Wests. And more about West Juniors in a moment, although that's on the UQAFC Facebook page, the official memorandum of understanding. They will work as one club with a junior and senior pathway. And there was some very clear pushing off the ball, which Gary Dunn literally spotted from 30 metres away. And the free kick will go to Erin Gilbert, who I keep wanting to call Erin Gilbert, but she won't let me.
Oh, that's beautiful delivery there to Gracie Roy. Puts it nice and flat. Clemisha kicked one last week. Can she make her second now? Nope, she's going to chip it in to the teammate, but unfortunately goes to the hands of the Devils.
Cleaned up by Lizzie Hill at the back. She comes onto this northern side. Not quite cleaned up by Neary. She'll get a second opportunity now, courtesy from some help from, I believe, Simpson. Satchasiv on the ground. Brings things to a halt. Clemisha off, Barnett on. That's not a straight swap. Good play outside from Simpson. Shearing just getting the fumbles. Inside to Childs, always a safe move. Goes inside 50. The lead was good. The punch from Burnett was better. And then a brilliant tackle from behind. As long as it's called legal, and looks to be a bit of a injury, but Georgia Hewitt using her renowned pace. In fact, she went over the shoulder, so that's been given as a free kick to UQ. Unfortunately, we have to criticise the technique, but certainly not the effort.
She's looking a little tender there on the ground. We just had the trainer come over.
I believe it's Elka Barnett. The blue ribbon is quite distinctive.
And having just run on as well, you'd hate to see her come off so quickly. Looks like she's up.
She's tough. Played rugby sevens, bit of soccer. In fact, I don't think there's anything she hasn't played, but now she has a set shot.
So Elka Barnett sets up to take her first and UQ's second of the day. Lovely swing in. It'll just go to the left though.
And there's not really any wind here today, so that was just a case of getting the radar wrong from Barnett. But 4 goals already this year.
I have to say, the girls here do only get to kind of come out onto this field very briefly before this game. Obviously, we had the QAFLW
Just to cut in, 50-metre penalty given away by UQ, so advanced up the field. But no, good point, Hannah. I'll definitely continue that one. And 50 metres looks a lot further on this field because it is so short. Burnett, the layup, which just hit the hands a bit hard, and UQ will have the chance to come away through Simpson. Hannah, we'll get back to your point in a moment. Hewitt retreating. And the tackle from Barnett, not paid, but gets possession anyway. Evades the tackle of Lowry, and then Hewitt attempted to make up for her error straight away and did a fairly good job of it. Barnett versus Hewitt. That is a top quality lightweight battle. Dunn slipped underneath the tackle. Centres the ball. Just came off the knee, I suspect, of Millen. Might be doing her a disservice. About 52 from Yeronga's goal. Squeezing, picked up by Russell. One of a lot of West Juniors here on Family Day at Base Architecture Meadows.
Pulteney goes to Childs again. It seems that both rucks are moving towards her. And the Devils doing really well to get this one out of danger. Coming down the side. Just shallow kick, they'll have to chase it. And big pressure there from Gow. And they'll be happy to see that one out.
It was Kathleen Mallion who made a very good break out of left halfback, and she's been in and out of the top side for the last few years, played a lot of reserve grade, but just seems one of those players who seems to improve just a bit every time she comes back into top level. So boundary throw in on the southern wing as the Brisbane River, or Maywar in the background, depicted so beautifully on the UQ jerseys in this design. Trying to get it forward, just came off the back heel of Abby Lunson. Squirts out the back, or presses eject, as my learned colleague often says. But the free kick will go.
Trying to make it my catchphrase, Daniel.
Oh, we're getting T-shirts printed during the week. Simpson distributes. It's over the head of Burnett. Pushed outside 50. Clemetia spotted an opportunity, and the ball wasn't round. Picked off by Shearing. Dodged through a couple of tackles. Getting it forward to a contest. Good front position from Matthews. Congratulations on your 100 games today, Bomber. Howell. The handball had pressure on it. Space created for Mallion. And Mallion, for the second time in 2 minutes, makes a break out of left halfback. Again, keeping it wide. And we've noticed this year when we've seen Yeronga, they like to play a wide game. UQ can play wide, but traditionally they're very much an up-the-guts kind of side. But they've regained possession through Childs. Back inside 50. The mark is dropped by Middleton. Just put herself under a bit of pressure, but they will lock it inside 50. Oh, contact over the shoulder. Dunn been very strict on that the last few weeks, so UQ will have a set shot, although it is a fair way out, to Lauren Middleton. Middleton looking for targets. Garton seems to be the preferred one. Just dropped short, then landed in the arms of Gilbert. Gilbert couldn't get free. Looking for space. That's gone through. Might have been The goal scorer was just behind the contest. We'll try to identify in a moment. You probably know better than I do.
Yeah, they've got the 2 flags out. It doesn't look like any of the fieldies are having that discussion. They're trusting their goal umpire. That is a goal.
No question it was a goal. It's just a case of who actually kicked the thing, and I probably should have known that. But no, there was a cluster of players. I'm gonna forgive myself, and hopefully you can forgive me as well. We'll find out during the quarter time break.
So just under 2 minutes to play now. And Yeronga just with the one behind. Look, you mentioned the switch that Yeronga are using. You're completely right, Daniel. They use the wings really nicely, but I think it's just not as effective as UQ's, using the guts, as you said.
And just a warning for not having the 5-6-5 formation correct.
Yeronga just brought to ground in the centre there. Misha puts that one out. Who is it? Childs. And a great take there from Coco Gutton. She's been a force in the forward line there. Looks like she's going to try and get it to a teammate, and it hits the hands. Lovely little play. Under a minute to go. Can they seal the deal in this first quarter?
That's Paige Livingston with the mark.
So she's kicked one already today. Can Paige make it 2? Great run up and a very nice swing, and it just hits again the left. For UQ, they are swinging to the left today.
Student populations are often like that.
That nearly went over my head, but not quite. So Yeronga don't have a lot of time. Gonna have to go long. Pulteney reaching up, but UQ again, straight to every ball. That is great by Childs. Broke that away. Plenty of players around this. On neither side able to, staying in. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. So UQ leads 16-1. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the second quarter after this.
If you find out, can you tell us?
Welcome back to round 6 of the Bond University QAFLW, where the UQ Red Lionesses are taking on the Yeronga South Brisbane Devils. It's currently a 15-point margin, 2 majors to the home side, 4 behind, and just the 1 behind to Yeronga. And I feel like that scoreline doesn't quite portray the effort from Yeronga, because a lot of their footy has been really nice. It's just getting it into that forward 50, and I think credit to UQ's defence. Daniel, how did you see it?
Well, you've nailed it in that UQ keep cutting the ball off on halfway, which on a larger field would be sort of half forward, cutting it off and sending it straight back in. And so most of Yeronga's good work has been in the back half. Just very quickly before we get restarted, 22nd of June at Bond University Oval, Queensland versus Tasmania. If you go to aflq.com.au, the state sides are there, but it'll be a day of it. Yes, we'll be broadcasting and commentating, but come down, watch us on the replay. Come down first and watch the game. Interstate footy at its finest. Pepper Pulteney with a vertical leap that's photogenic, really. Jane Childs through the middle, and water makes things wet. Childs inside 50. Coming from the back was McCabe, didn't come down with the chocolates. Burnett was able to turn it over. Cleared by Dunn. Came out wide through the hands of Hewitt, but again turning it over. Andrews goes inside 50 wide, over the head of Middleton, running through to McCabe. Howell stayed outside the contest well. Very disciplined play. Opal Jones will call it up.
If there's one player you'd want to shut down as Yeronga, it'd have to be Jane Childs. She has been in absolutely everything. Her speed and vision is incredible. That one trickles down to seemingly no one. And again, both sides are going to push that one across the line.
The question is how you do that. Childs is so fast. You either need to bring someone like Georgia Hewitt up from defence, which leaves a hole there, or Chelsea Wynn, which means you lose her creativity.
And had a throw there.
Yeah, one of those throws where it wasn't deliberate in terms of trying to throw it, but more that they tried to gather and kind of propelled it with the hands. So Lauren Middleton had a set shot in the first term. Do-overs.
Kicks their first within 3 minutes in the first quarter. They're about to do the same. Middleton with the first of the second term, and it goes to the left. So not to be.
That's how we can tell that Hannah Davies is a commentator of great quality, because the curse is very much in effect. Congratulations.
It really is. And this is this lovely switch we see from Yeronga. But are they going to change it up and go in the middle? Well, they are. Burnett can't get a hand on it. And we'll have a ball up from Opal Jones. Pulteney against Garton. Another great matchup in the ruck. Burnett, it's being played on. Heaps of numbers. The heat is turning up in this second quarter. Yeronga, nice push out. And Wilson just unable to release that ball, but Jones will ball it up.
She did well to take the catch. It didn't go 15, so it wasn't a mark. And then the tackling pressure from Erin Gilbert was equally skillful. As Shuring got a bump for her troubles after she kicked the ball inside 50. Comes out to Middleton. The handball inside. Looking for space. Barnett. Barnett's on the board.
And that goal was almost inevitable, you feel, Daniel, because the pressure was and the connections were just building and building down in that 50. And UQ have done that incredibly so far today. They've just maintained possession. It's been all about possession for them, even when things don't go their way. You know, Middleton had the unfortunate left swing there, but their ability to keep it within the danger zone has just been fantastic.
UQ's ability to score when they get inside 50 is the second best in the competition this year.
Wow.
The problem has been getting inside 50 often enough, but when they do, they convert as well as, I think it's only Astley who's ahead of them.
Tap down from Clemetia. And kicking in danger. So it'll be another opportunity for UQ. Going wide. And straight to to Millen. Goes down the centre, hits the feet of UQ. And again, just getting caught up. So UQ just slowing down any kind of progress that Yeronga are making. Lowry did well against Clemisha. Both teams trying to get their hand. UQ are going to push it wide.
So inside the shearing. And they will switch the play. The slingshot, as it's known. The St. Lucia slingshot, dare I say. Just went through the hands of Hargraves. Did well under pressure to get the handball away. Inside 50 again. And well cut off by 100 games worth of experience from Jess Matthews. Began at Yeronga. Then went to Wilston Grange, won a premiership. Captained them through a period where they didn't get a lot of support from the club at Wilston Grange. I don't mind saying that out loud these days because they have turned it around. But Jess Matthews, well, 100 games is far more than just a reward for constantly turning up. She's been through a lot, and it's a pleasure to be here on her centenary game. So it's turned over to Dawson in the middle after Yeronga made a few good passes that I talked over praising Jess Matthews. She won't mind. The kick will accidentally find a target with Dargy at centre half forward. Imposing figure of Dunn's able to bring it away. Just knocked outside 50 to Clemisha.
Clemisha puts it high in the middle. Gutton can't hold on to it though, and so it's going to go down again. So a few options there. Gabby Simpson completely free on the right. No Yeronga player has spotted her. I feel that
it's like she's wearing salmon deodorant or something. There's just a lot of space around it.
Definitely to their peril. I would not be leaving an athlete like that on their own, but Yeronga, to their credit, nearly out of the 50. But this is where UQ are so strong, as this moment here. So another ball up.
Should point out there's a jumping castle to our right. So if you hear sounds of joy that appear unrelated to the football, no, it's related to Family Day here at Base Architecture Meadows.
It is a great occasion to be celebrating for UQ.
This contact over the shoulder gives the free kick to Satchesib at centre half back.
So all the options just down the middle. She's got one to her right. And unfortunately a missed kick. And just some skill errors letting Yeronga down here. And UQ looking to capitalise on them. And
good tackling pressure rewarded. Sorry to talk over you, Hannah. Just trying to identify the tackler, but it was Abby Lunson, I should have guessed. Working through the middle through the pace of Jamie Howell. And that landed in the arms of Charlie Hellier, and it's been paid. No, it's been paid to UQ. Gracie Roy's been paid the mark in a 50-50 contest, but wasn't behind the mark. So she's able to play on now, moves to the far side.
So it's here when you probably feel the gap of, you know, your Bellinger and your McDonnell in that forward line.
I think most teams would, as it's brought inside. Jamie Howell playing well above her height, if that makes sense. Got the tackle on Simpson. Simpson uses body well. Was able to bump herself away from Lizzie Hill and just hack it inside 50. Barnett looking for the target, just about found it. The snap kick comes in from Livingston. Goes across the face of goal. Garton tried to do a clever flick inside. It came off a boot and went out, but not on the full, and Georgia Hewitt was about as calm as anyone in that circumstance.
Great chase down from Gunton. Good result for UQ, really.
Oh, field positions a lot.
So Yeronga manned up heavy. Lowry pushes it down. Childs spinning around in there. And we'll have another ball up. Lowry pushes it wide. No one's there though. Clemisha's going to swing. And, oh, it's touched.
Jess Matthews with the very late fist. I don't think it takes 100 games to learn that skill, but you know, she probably worked that out by about game 18, I reckon. But
I'd say so. Great to be making an impact on that special occasion. It was a great kick, though, from Clemisha. Just probably needed a bit more height to get out of danger.
Yeah, holding without the ball, so opportunity to clear for Jamie Howell at right halfback.
So it's very congested for Yeronga. No real clear space.
The mark just dropped an impact by Dunn, but she gets a second opportunity. Henning is retreating, but it landed behind her. Hellier is on the ground, having a whale of a time, but not really having an impact. Ball up as Yeronga about 70 from goal.
And Laura Clemisha comes off and Claudia Dargy on.
Jane Childs, magnetic at the centre contest today. Beautiful one-handed pickup from McCabe. Inside, just, I think she crashed into the butt of Camilla Burnett.
I loved the idea, unfortunately just couldn't execute it.
And Howell benefits from the Burnett butt.
So, nice kick to the right, and unfortunately that one just goes a little bit too far.
And I hope a photographer got a picture of Georgia Hewitt about a second after she kicked that. The hands went straight to the head, and she was questioning her life choices.
Yeronga first to it, but unable to gain possession. Burnett again just can't quite get a grip on it.
Clever from Lauren Middleton. Saw the ball was away from her. Made sure that the umpire could see where the tackle was. Comes wide, looking for the target of Livingston. Getting in the way was Wilson, who did quite well. Possession not really secure until Matthews decided it was. Hewitt will go wide. Heads for the boundary. Gow, under a lot of pressure. Again, it's not a wet ground, but it is lush. The predicted rain for this afternoon looks like it's never going to come. Good work from Morris Susi to get out of defence and get the boot to the ball. And then a whale of a handball found Gow. Gow inside 50, went to Hill, was just pushed backwards legally as the ball hit her chest. Howell on the ground with arms spread out as though she's wanting someone to bury her in sand.
The spread is noticeable for UQ. They're giving themselves space to drive, and it's making things a lot easier. Yeronga just putting it on the hands. UQ though, a turnover here. Childs straight down the middle, and she's going to have a swing. Cracking goal there, Paige Livingston. That is her second of the day.
Let's go through the anatomy of that goal. The turnover, Harriet Gow saw that she was able to intercept the disposal from Yeronga, pounced on it, saw Jane Childs in front of her, didn't look a gift horse in the mouth, and then Paige Livingston, as I said, played Coates Talent League down in Victoria last year from, I'm going to say Ballarat, but if it's Bendigo I will be crucified, but able to present a big target, and because she's got a bit of football experience, around her you've got the elite athletic experience, people like Simpson and Clemisha. So I hope that they're learning off each other in the UQ sort of forwards and mids this year, because
I have heard they are.
Yeah, because there are super brains being concocted in the Clayfield Petri dish there, but a wonderful goal for UQ, and of course Livingston's second, UQ's fourth.
It was, and I know we don't have a goal assist stat in AFL, but I feel that we should, because I feel that Jane Childs deserves a stat there. And again, UQ just fierce today. Great swing, and that's going to go. Oh, it bounced to the. It's gone in.
Elka Barnett, who celebrated way too early. Let's say she was off and racing. Then the ball hit the ground and did a massive Shane Ward leg break. I'll rephrase that, an Amanda Jane Wellington leg break. Still went through.
So 2 for Barnett, 2 for Livingston.
And 1 to Ms. UN Known, who we'll find out for you shortly. But again, UQ, that's the kind of goal they've been scoring for the last 4 years, including their 2 premierships. Doesn't matter the the credentials or the reputation of the players on the ground. On a smaller field like this, and even the larger ones, they will find a way through the middle. Lowry does well. Got it out wide to Millen. Handball forward, didn't really hit the target. And then a wrestling match with Hargraves.
Certainly no love lost between these two sides.
They've played once or twice. This is match number 27 between these two sides, stretching back to 2013. Yeronga dominant for most of that time, but UQ for the last few years. Gets the Chelsea win, has a bit of space to play with, goes onto her weaker left foot and looks pretty good. Got to Hellier, the play was impacted by Bailey Cook on debut. Yet another West junior already in this side. The relationship was, in fact that's been called as a free kick. Holding Charlie Hellier, well done. The Hellier name quite prominent around Yeronga. But yes, lots of West Junior UQ connections long before the partnership was made formal. They're inside 50, Satchisiv got the handball back. Yeronga trying to make this count. Round the back to Millen. Millen had 4 players in front of her. There was high contact. And Yeronga have the chance to really make this count.
So that's 2 frees now in just a minute. Need to take charge of this opportunity, and that's how you do it.
Great positioning from Maddie Satchisiv. And great from Millen, who learned her football at Mount Gravatt, to spot her out. Mount Gravatt to girls' grammar is not the most obvious connection, but it worked there. So Maddie Satchisiv, there's no wind. There was movement now. That's got nothing to do where the ball was. That was a bit of collision in the goal square. And it's been turned over, so unfortunately we weren't able to see the infringement, but Gary Dunn spotted something that Yeronga did in the goal square. It's a good overhead, what was nearly a good overhead mark from Gilbert. And turned over. The pressure from Yeronga relentless. Off the left foot of Morisuti. Nearly went to Hellier, just came off her hands. Satchisiv retreating. Childs has a body over the ball. Knocked out towards Dunn. Couldn't get her hands free. Turned over to UQ. Andrews has been brought down. Did she have a prior opportunity? Opal Jones says no. Good field position for the Devils.
So it's been in this forward 50 for Yeronga for a little bit. But UQ's defence is just relentless.
Sophie Dunn stretched the arm out. Came inside Neary. He's had a bit more to do today. Yeronga still with the field position. Clemisha overran it. Shuring got in the way, was tackled by Millen. Hargraves tackled by Morisuti. Hargraves tried to get back up. Lays the ball down rugby union style, extracted by Millen. Clemisha somehow came up with it. The tallest player said, I'm 190 centimetres, but I don't care. Dunn went back inside, through hands, just knocked forward. And then who else would come up with it and run out of 50 but Jane Childs, who then puts it on a platter for Edie McCabe.
I can't say enough about Jane Childs' footwork this evening. UQ, good opportunity. Go down the line. Yeronga's defence hustling though. Trying to slow this down as much as possible. Umpire's call play on, but it's going to get stuck here.
I think we can see why Yeronga should be encouraged, even though they're winless and bottom of the table at the moment. That was a period of sustained pressure inside 50. It just takes that little bit of extra connection inside 50 to turn those into points, and suddenly your season looks very different. As they get a chance to go on the march again here.
And again, you know, I know that every player in that lineup is capable, but you got to say the 3 outs are really big for Yeronga, and I think that they are missing them. I know I've already said it.
As Lana Lowry was just a little enthusiastic against Erin Gilbert, whose kick wasn't great. Shuring recovers extremely well. Looks for Jane Childs inside, and she racks up possession number 3 million. Commentator's curse, turns it over. Dunlop. Ball up. Pulteney versus Clemisha is high class, and they are 2 of the rucks with a big number of...
Here's Gabby Simpson. The step around, all class.
Didn't mean to talk over that. Absolutely right to praise Simpson. The kick out goes to... Oh, Sophie Dunn came from a long way back, completely legal. Everyone's fine. They're all getting up slowly towards Livingston. Just punched over the top. Livingston looking to recover. The air swing from Carmody. Brought to ground. Ball up.
Yeah, that was a huge clash, but Annie Shoering's gotten out pretty unharmed at all. Credit to her. That was a big fall down. UQ kind of took their own ball to ground there. Dargie's around it. She's been muscled out of it, though.
Yeah, good shoulder from Pulteney.
So Coco and Pulteney to go up here. That's a great matchup as well. Yeronga take it to the floor again. And that brings us to halftime. So UQ, another great display for the second quarter, pushed their lead to 35 points, 36-1. Don't go anywhere though, plenty more to play. For Yeronga fans, let's hope for a comeback soon. We'll be back after the break.
Lisa.
Inside this building is a simulated hospital ward, a high-tech biomechanics lab, a commercial kitchen, and a whole virtual home. Let's explore the new Bond Institute of Health and Sport in just 61 seconds. This is the 12-bed simulation hospital ward. From day one, Bond students gain hands-on experience in allied health and exercise science. This is the Work Play Lab, which gives students the opportunity to provide occupational therapy for our youngest, while the Activities of Daily Living Lab simulates a full home environment, giving students the chance to practice mobility work with our wisest. From sprinting to golf swings, this track can track it. Using pressure sensors and high-speed cameras, it can analyze anything from age-related conditions to elite sports training. Wow. The Kitchen Lab has solar-powered sustainable cooking stations, giving postgrad nutrition and dietetic students access to commercial-grade equipment. Thank you. Why don't you come and check out the Bond Institute of Health and Sport for yourself? Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? I've got 61 seconds to race you through the life of a student in the Bond Elite Sport program. Strap in. Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain, supporting student athletes like Mia. Student athletes have access to flexible study loads, adjusted academic requirements, and tutoring. The top tier of student athletes even receive funding to assist with their travel and competition costs. Bond also runs 4 high-performance sporting programs that field competitive teams. There's netball, rugby, AFL, and swimming. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Whether it's producing world-class athletes or offering scholarships to high-achieving students every single year, sport is alive and well at Bond University.
Coming up here, the Bond University QAFLW round 6, UQ leading 36-1. Daniel, Yeronga just looking a little depleted out there.
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, they are literally playing one short. So they're 16 on the field, but they've only got 4 on the bench. Unfortunately, Steph Rosenthal, one of the quickest players in the comp probably, but yeah, she's out today. And you do wonder whether she could have played a role in shutting down Jane Childs, who I think Blind Freddie could see has been best on ground so far today. But I think also Chelsea Wynn's been winning plenty of ball in the middle. But the Yeronga midfield, they're still building up the combinations, which takes time, and it doesn't help when you've got a few key players out. Just to know where the gaps are, where she likes to distribute the ball, how you can get outside the contest. And to their credit, the UQ midfielders are just shutting off all the exits for Chelsea Wynn.
Yeah, they've been relentless, UQ. I've loved what they've been putting out there so far. And I think for me, the biggest difference is that UQ are playing like a team. They're really cohesive. You can tell there's a lot of support. Even someone like Simpson, she hasn't had a lot of touches, but she's always kind of around, and I feel like that gives confidence to her teammates. Yeronga, it seems, like you said, Daniel, like they'll get the ball, but there's not quite someone there. And as well, like Pulteney's doing a really good job in ruck, but often it's actually going to Childs, and that's a credit to Childs because she is so quick that she's picking up balls that aren't even meant for her from the opposition ruck. Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and I mean the best midfielders in Aussie rules do that. They're able to not care who wins the hit out. It's just we'll put a ruck up there, but it doesn't really matter how it comes down. I'm the one who's going to get it. But look, they are structured and they've had fewer interruptions. Even though they do have Laura Roy and Ashley Moyle out with the academy side playing down in Victoria this week. But it implies to me that the training program across the UQ club is very consistent. Now we should get some liquid paper to our efforts to call the goal scorers in the first half. So just to give credit where it's due, in the first quarter, yes, I'm putting my hand up for this. In the first quarter, the goals were to Paige Livingston. We got that one, and then it was Elka Barnett who scored in the pocket when we couldn't quite identify the goal scorer in a cluster of players. Then we were able to get Barnett and Livingston as the first 2 goal scorers. It was Harriet Knife who scored the 3rd goal about a minute after Paige Livingston's goal. And I did the same thing to her last year on Pride Round as well. So to Mr. and Mrs. Knife, I don't hate your daughter. She's a wonderful player, and I will get a goal of hers right someday. Someday. It's a life. I'm not retiring till I do it.
Now, touching on conditions here, I've had a look at the radar, and it doesn't look like rain is in sight, but it certainly looks a little bit ominous here at the ground. And of course, being so close to the river, the temperature certainly drops once the sun's come across the field, and it has done so. So it'll be interesting to see how or if that affects either of these teams. You could see UQ just doing a little warm-up additionally onto the field.
We still do. Another bit of a chat. Yes, Ross Clayfield still is there with the UQ side, just over to the right of where the camera's showing now. Gary Dunn, one of the umpires, has been an employee of AFL Queensland for some years, and I think he's currently the umpire, I want to say recruitment, that's probably wrong, but certainly important in the world of umpiring. Not afraid to say, look, you're taking too long in the clusters. I'm going to blow my whistle and get this game restarted. I got theatre tickets tonight, and I want to make sure I get to the show.
So we're nearly underway now. Clemisha back in the ruck. She's been excellent today. I think for me it's all about her vision and her peripheral, which, as coming from a netball background, I'm going to credit that to netball because peripheral vision is something covered very heavily in that sport because she's going up, but she's managing to find her teammate with what looks like a lot of ease. I'm not sure what it's feeling like out there for her.
Let's have a look. Gabby Simpson's position just to the left. If Clemisha can get the hit out, here. Let's see if she goes left. It's Pulteney who gets it. Got it through in the general direction of Wynn. And then knocked out of the arms of the ubiquitous Childs. Abby Lunson looking like she has her leg caught in a bear trap. She's able to get free eventually. Play on, but there's not much play to on. Five goals to nil in the first half to UQ in their stunning Indigenous jersey. And we'll get to see Yerongas in a couple of weeks at Southport. That game is on the live stream with Hannah and myself, barring illness. Harriet Gow. Gow through the middle, looking into the forward 50. Beautiful from Jamie Howe to get in front of the contest. Didn't take the mark, but Burnett was able to sweep. Garton around the back, just got the fist to the ball. UQ maintaining possession through McCabe, then losing it. Good arm from Pulteney. Millen Millen got the handball away, was looking for the run of Lunson. Missed out. Coming through the reverse direction was Gracie Roy, playing nice and high. And Knife, that's right, Knife, not Barnett, Knife hacks the ball up to right half forward, just goes over the head of Hill, uses a bit of soccer skills to keep it in. Turns it over, however, back to Clemetia. Inside 50, just fell behind Gart and Jamie Howe pounced. Handball cleverly into grass twice. Outside and inside to Lunson. That's good work from Yeronga to get outside 50.
Players nearly took out umpire Jones there, coming through the middle. And again, UQ done really well to work this back. Dropped ball there from Gow. She makes up for it, delivers it nicely into the 50. It'll be a foot race here. UQ have slotted that one just as a behind.
That was Livingston in the end, working well in combination with Barnett. And as with 5 players in the front line in women's football, that front two, and it's not always a front two, teams will try different formations, but having a tall and a small up forward has become a bit of a classic combination. And Livingston and Barnett, with a few others just behind them, playing that role to perfection as it's turned over just outside 50 by Simpson. Simpson towards the hot spot, looking for Livingston. Howe got in front.
Now
and it's called a throw. Sorry, Hannah.
Sorry, I didn't realise it'd been turned over here.
Essentially, if you try to catch the ball and then sort of in an effort to grasp it, go for it and it propels off your hand, that will be called a throw. And the set shot, look, it looks like Barnett, but of course it could be Knife. No, it's Elka Barnett. Elka Barnett has 2 in this game. Just the right amount of energy. Elka Barnett hat-trick. Confirmation from the injured captain in the cheap seats. 6th goal for UQ.
Well, you'd be reeling if you were Yeronga right now, because they, especially it was Hal actually that put a stop to that delivery from Gabby Simpson. Great hands from her and a really nice delivery, but Howe did an excellent job to get the front position, and her personally, I know that UQ just scored, but the energy for her has turned up already in this second half.
And traditionally a winger, but she's dropped back into defence today and she's showing a different side of her skill set.
Jane Childs once again gets that clearance. Here's Simpson again. Look at this speed. She is bursting out. And again, that's a nice high ball, but it'll be Yeronga. And they'll push it out. Stays in. Oh, and just a drop ball there.
Oh, not a bad result for Georgia Hewitt. It was Jess Matthews at the back. 100th game, don't you know? And yeah, was able to get it to Hewitt. And to be honest, given that she didn't have much to kick to, I think a non-deliberate, deliberate fumble out of bounds was not a bad option.
Coco Garten puts the hands, but it'll drop down. Plenty of numbers around this. Yeronga trying to push that one away. And the pressure from both sides is rising.
Yeronga know how to hustle. As I say, the combinations are coming, lots of changes this week, and they've been in a rebuild for 3 years for different reasons, but they know how to hustle. Spilled out towards Barnett in the pocket. The aerial kick came up from Dargy. Inching closer towards goal, but no one able to get a clear extended leg at the ball, and Yeronga again have shut it down as Hill hands it to Dunn. Garten in the right. Poultney does well. It fell to Hill. Oh, that went straight into the forearm of Elka Barnett, and she looks hurt. Hill hacks it off the ground. Nearly cut off by Knife. In the end goes to Wilson. That was never a mark. Possibly hands over the shoulder from Knife, but play's allowed to go on. Hill, Dunn. Dunn's able to clear.
Once again, though, UQ first to the ball. Straight down the line, though. Poultney's near.
Good turnover.
Plenty of time. Nice high ball, but it's straight into the UQ defence again. The front position is excellent. Matthews manages to push that out. Plenty of numbers around for UQ. Matthews taken down, and that is a sling tackle.
No, in the back.
In the back,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Hargraves, number 5 for UQ, just being pushed down. And I missed whether Elka Barnett had to come off the field before, but now coming off the field is Annalise Neary, who I think possibly had a limb trapped at the bottom of that contest. But Russell returns to the field.
Hargraves goes into the middle.
How tough is Julia Dawson? The answer is very.
Simpson tried to sort of set it across. It's gone the way of Yeronga though.
That was interesting. Opal Jones called play on, but Gary Dunn felt he had a better view of it, so he called it over the shoulder. Free kick to Yeronga.
It's tricky with just 2 field umpires, so it's good teamwork from the umps.
Yeah, Clemisha with a throw. Just good on her for wanting to take on the contest, but didn't work.
Very flat ball.
And picked off by Dawson again. Her hair's coming loose, but her play is tight. It's taken by Millen. Comes wide to Wynn. Wynn inside 50. Goes to the contest. Falls in front of everyone. May just fall kindly for Yeronga. Eventually the number Charlotte Andrews retreats. Comes wide to Hargraves. Hargraves will clear.
Clears to the middle though, and Yeronga sweep on that. Swoop, sorry.
No, sweep's good.
And it's held up in the middle.
This is interesting. Chelsea Wynn just playing behind the contest, and she's the one who's sent the last 2 back inside 50 rather than playing directly on the ball. Good hustle from Morisuti. Knife evades a couple of tackles, got a good handball away to Clemisha. She comes back. This time Middleton's come a long way back. Hewitt was there, Wynn was there. Just thrown away was Garton, but it was all deemed to be in the motion. Wynn again, playing behind the contest. Goes wide looking for Hellier. That was expert. Both the lead from Hellier and the pass from Wynn. Hellier towards the goal square. Henning got front position, let it go. Big opportunity. Just fell loose. It was good work from Dawson at the back. She's had a good few minutes. Gracie Roy clears. Goes out to the right-hand side. Gabby Simpson in pursuit. Doesn't need the volleyball skills this time. Steps inside Millen. Puts on the afterburners. And every time I've got the call when Gabby Simpson gets the ball, Hannah's heart rate just gets a little bit faster. UQ on the counter-attack. They haven't had this much space for a while. Garton learns from Simpson, taps it forward. Jamie Howell gets there first, but had Dargy straight onto her. Turned over again towards Middleton. Georgia Hewitt using her speed. Has a bit of help inside, but it's Middleton. Snap over the shoulder towards the goal. Make it a good roll and win across the face. But because UQ have had most of the territory in possession today, it's the first time we've really had a chance to see them on the break, and it was nearly deadly.
Nearly, and that's quite unfortunate there. It just didn't quite bounce. A bit of bad luck.
Dunlop doing well in their second game. Oh, I've cursed her. That was entirely my fault. But touched on the way out, so just a throw-in.
Bailey Cook just unable to get a hand to it. She was a late in today.
Yes, Eva Sato unavailable, but on Family Day celebrating the partnership with West Juniors, why not throw another West Junior in? Congratulations, Bailey Cook. Hill was good through the middle, went through to Morisuti, up towards Rachel Harris at full forward, battling with Henning. Plenty of experience in that battle. Henning gets out wide. One of the most... that's why she's a 2-time fullback of the year in this competition. Goes inside 50. Just lands in front of Howell. Falls towards Middleton. Middleton with a bit of space. Onto her right foot. Not enough strength. The distance was just off, and Jamie Howell, one of the fastest players in the world, damn it, I'm going to say it, runs it through for a behind.
It was clever play. She had Claudia Dargy right on her heels. I don't blame her for just running that one through.
Oh, former athlete, as in track and field, sprinting, long jump, fit, fast. Knife unlucky. I thought she'd done enough there. And surely when you're trying to escape from Jamie Howell, there's a little bit of latitude given, surely. No? Okay.
So I was paying attention to Neary, who's just come back on for UQ in the back line.
And Barnett was yelling her guts out on the boundary just earlier, so she seems okay. Little scrap again, and I don't mind a scrap in the Bond University QAFLW because it's usually caused by cancelling of skill rather than a lack of it. Middleton swoops. Got squeezed out the back, and Gary Dunn spotted a free kick. Should point out the umpires are wearing their Sir Douglas Nichols round shirts as well. And did we give the other umpires today? Don't think we did. Boundary, Thomas Lay and Ed Harris. Goal, Liz Smiley and Harper Eyre. Has play on been allowed? No, Gary Dunn might be advancing at 50. Forgive me for having trouble with the call, but it does look like Lauren Middleton's been given a 50. It will either be for movement on the mark or a defender running in the protected area around where the kicker is. So Middleton, inside midfielder for most of her QAFLW career, but moved mainly to half forward this year and enjoying life. Former Callum Vale Jr. Makes no mistake. Second goal for UQ of the third quarter, and they hit the half century.
And so the scoreline continues to blow out. Now a 50-point margin. And still 9 behind. So UQ probably could be even further ahead. They've just had a few little errors.
Actually, that just gives me a chance to talk about one of my favourite stats in the Bond University QAFLW this year. Only Yeronga has kicked more behinds than goals this year. All other 7 sides. This is a bit of progress in the, I mean, you even see it in the AFL, you know, having more behinds than goals is quite common, but the accuracy of kicking in the competition this year is the best it's ever been. And if even the bottom side, it was 11 and 12, now it's 11 and 13. Nothing disgraceful about that. The skill level is improving before our eyes. I think you thought I was going to be patronising there, but I'm not.
I thought it could be insulting Yeronga.
No.
But in fact, it was complimenting the league.
Trust me, Hannah.
I should more.
Gow had it knocked out from her, and that's called holding. Yeronga with an opportunity through Satchisiv. Barnett ran from about 30 metres away to intercept that. Obviously, it was just for position first, and then she saw an opportunity to Kamisha. Didn't quite hold on. Just trying to provide crumbs for the goal attack. Pushing the back. UQ with the chance to continue. Middleton in the thick of a lot of things at the moment.
Chooses to go to Garton. Little dodge back around. High kick up. Who's there though? Yeronga.
Carmody at the back. Beautiful.
Going to go wide, but it's too wide for Lowry to get there. And it will trail out.
Now, I'll just mention the celebrity runner in pink there, Jessie Keefe, former ruck for the Brisbane Lions. Officially retired a few years ago, but she's still, look, she has reasons for not playing, and I absolutely respect them, but my goodness, I miss her because she's a massive personality, and it's just great to watch when she played for the Lions, so, yeah.
Goes straight to Garton, hands it to the teammate. Pushes it across into the middle. And Yeronga brought to ground.
On the cricket pitch area, which these days is seen as a no-no, but traditionally most Aussie rules grounds had a stupidly hard area in the middle of the field where it was either hell to get tackled there or it was full of mud.
Sounds very accurate.
Pushing the back called. Free kick goes to Shuring.
Plenty of options, just falls short. And a double tackle from Yeronga is ineffective as Childs sends it down. Bounces to the left here.
I think we just saw probably the only thing missing from Jane Childs' game, and that is a left foot kick. Got onto the right and went wide. Look, I'm going to say it. I think she's a bit burnt to miss out on the state squad. And I'm not saying that to necessarily criticise selectors, but we're invested in the state side. You know, this is a competition we care about.
And maybe that's why she's, I mean, you know, she's clearly a talented player, but it feels like today there's a little edge on her performance. She is tearing it up out there, and perhaps that not selection in the Queensland state squad is what she's letting out today.
Oh, I pity the fool.
Because right now, Daniel, it's a little bit hard to pick our bests when it's really just been trials all day.
It's her world and we're living in it. But Yeronga on the attack through Lowry. Attacker from the back from Shoering. Just went a little bit high, but has caused the turnover. Gracie Roy has time to change her mind and finds Andrews in her own postcode. Andrews with time for a bounce. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Goes to centre half forward. Howell again getting front position. Maybe just getting too far forward. Livingston with the handball, charging onto it is Childs. Handballed into space cleverly, then follows up her own ball. Goes back to Livingston, trying to get her arms free, and beautifully cut off. I believe that's Lunson, I'll just check.
Andrews straight to Simpson. Hits it to the right. Goes over a few. Some numbers gather around this ball, and it comes down.
And called holding. She was outnumbered 1 against 4 Devils. Tried to keep the ball in. Experienced umpires don't fall for that trick. Howes comes wide to Hewitt. Undercooked the kick, a few skill errors, double turnover though, looking for Dunn, does well.
I don't think she meant to play on, I think she just fell forward with the momentum.
Hellier, good centering kick, just went past Wilson. Harris had followed through, contact over the shoulder, Yuki with a chance to clear.
Just been a couple times with Yeronga, a little miscommunication here. Just 2 players, both taking excellent space, but just getting confused between both of them. And it's just unfortunately falling between them.
Childs drops one at right half forward, so it can happen. She's human. Play stop. Just on that, we often see at the very top level, so AFL and AFLW, you get a side that just comes together and it takes them a while to build the combinations, and they might come, say, 13th of 18th one year. Then they just have a tiny improvement and suddenly they're a top 4 side. And I just say that as encouragement to Yeronga that looks like they're doing a lot of good things as they win a free kick through Lowry on the left. And it's not going to take that much to just push them over the edge.
You're very right, Daniel. I think Cooperoo this year are a great example of that. Even Aspley, their trajectory to now competition favourites, I'm going to say, has been phenomenal to watch them. Even just, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
The upturn of these sides can be so quick.
So Sanchesiv found the target in, I believe, Hellier. Hellier in the sleeves. Instructions being called out by the Red Lioness coaching staff. Kick wasn't quite where it was intended, and that gives Hargraves the chance to do the St. Lucia slingshot. Cleverly done by Elka Barnett. Through to Andrews. Playing a bit more centrally than she's used to. Found space on the outside. Wasn't afraid to use the grass. Good wraparound. The teamwork, the sense of space between her and McCabe. Inside to Barnett, who's probably in the top few on the ground. Took a lot of space. Lowry just put her body in the way. Turned over to Millen. Millen up the guts. Henning dropped it on the way back, but had 3 teammates behind her. And a few in front of her. Garton's able to clear.
And Howell, but it's not to be. And the siren sounds for 3/4 time. So it now sits 51-1. We'll be back very shortly with the final quarter of this round 6 matchup.
And water makes things worse. So, yeah. Oh, and it's the acceleration for work as well. In the kinds of sports that we love, they don't reward getting to top speed over there. They reward the first 5 metres, first 1 metre. That's awesome. Wi-Fi, honestly. So sorry, Ben, still good with you? Good. Just thinking. Did we? That was an accident. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm so excellent. Well, I was going to say, because we were told not to do it this week. That was an accident. I would never want to. Oh, he's disgusting. That's what I was thinking of. I wish I could draw in front of me so I could work out sort of, who they're playing and what's. Well, actually, we can talk about the general sense, sort of what these teams have shown today that's going to work against the better sides. That's for a couple of times. Because Yeronga's got Southport next.
It is a 50-point margin here at the University of Queensland as UQ take on the Yeronga South Brisbane Devils. So looking at this game here, the score has unfortunately blown out, but the Devils looking pretty confident in their final term huddle. Still plenty to play for, and as always, your fourth quarter, if you're down like this, that's when you're looking ahead at your next game. And for Yeronga, that is going to be a big one. That is against Southport.
And we will be there. That's in no games in the Bond University QAFLW next week. Please keep checking the channel. A, catch up on games you missed. B, go to the men's comp. And I think we're down at Surfers Paradise next week. That'll be Kane Simpson, and I'm making a guest appearance, but tune in anyway. But yeah, Yeronga for the next game. First of all, they're showing a lot of hustle. And let's face it, when you're playing one of what has unfortunately become a big three in this competition, so Aspley, Bond and Southport, you are going to spend a lot of time in your defensive 50. You need to absorb pressure. And there have been moments today where Yeronga has shown that they can absorb pressure for long periods, and that's without some of their more experienced defenders calling the shots. So if they can do that in this circumstance, when they get, and it's mainly Maddie Goodwin of the three missing who's been playing in defence this year, when you've got her helping Bomber Matthews at the back and they can organise some of those younger players, we've seen the speed of Georgia Hewitt, we've seen the strength of Georgia Carmody, we've seen the strength of some people not called Georgia on this side. There are a couple of those in the Yeronga side. But no, there are some good signs there, and we'll talk a bit more about what UQ can look to do against the better sides a little bit later in the broadcast.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for them, and they've shown a lot of great signs. As Flamisha, she stayed in the ruck all day, and why not? She's had a great outing. And there she goes, puts it down, but it goes to Yeronga straight off the bat. Unfortunate drop there.
Good handball from Morisuti to Sachasev. Sachasev has pretty clever passes, found Hellier. Charlie Hellier has not to date scored a Bond University QAFLW goal. Scored a high-quality one in pre-season, and there was a wonderful photo on social media of her celebration, which may have popped an eyeball. So we may see something similar if she's able to put this through the sticks. And I refuse to believe that Yeronga don't deserve a goal today. Charlie Hellier. Looks all right. The celebration was big indeed. UQ may be disappointed not to keep a defensive clean sheet, but I think any neutral and certainly any Devils fan will be very pleased that they've got a score and in the first minute of the final quarter. And congratulations, Charlie Hellier, because you have worked very hard to A, get into this side, and B, to get your name on the score sheet. Well done.
And that's a pressure moment, isn't it? Your side is 1 point to 51. But I think we're going to see in this last quarter that Yeronga know they've got nothing to lose. And I think that fast start really proves that already.
Pulteney wins again, gets it to Hill. Hooks around the body, goes inside 50, it's shallow. Dunn's been moved into the forward line. Morisuti had a hand in the last goal, got it back to Wynn. Wynn going back towards the contest. This may fall. Goes outside, just didn't quite go to Sachasev. Goes back to Dunn. Dunn finds a bit of space. It's vertical. Hellier's closest to it again. Needs support inside. Has Lunson. Hellier makes sure that there will at least be a restart next to the behind post.
I don't know what they did in that third quarter break. Maybe had some gels, but Yeronga have come out firing.
To Dunn. Dunn goes check side. Outside of the boot. It's off target. Just knocked away. Back towards Sachasev. Schuring, not able to get the handball into any space. We're going to have another stoppage, and this one is right in front of the sticks.
So it's been a holding call.
I apologise for missing that.
And Yeronga are going to take a free kick. Well, can they go 2 in 4 minutes?
Maddie Sachasev. Here come the Devils.
Why not, she says. Talk about a hot start. And it makes you wonder, Daniel, where has his energy been?
Well, sometimes, and yeah, I've played in a lot of bottom-of-the-ladder sporting teams. You can, whenever a side goes in leading by 50, no one means to switch off. But I think it's human nature that often you're not quite as intense as you are at the start. And obviously, you've got to learn how to pounce when the game is there to be won. But the next best thing is to say, hey, you take us lightly, we are going to punish you. Have they woken UQ up is the question. They've certainly woken Pulteney up. And again, just more numbers to the ball at the moment. Good work through the middle from Schuring, hustled hard, and she caused that turnover almost by herself. Andrews crashing through from the back. She'll go inside 50 to the pocket, looking for Livingston. Now, did she control that inside the boundary? It has been ruled to do so. Boundary umpire well positioned. Garton looking for space. It was a low kick, and Matthews shelled that beautifully. Lunson just dropped it on impact. And luckily for her, the UQ players just stood back very nicely and let her regain her feet. Hellier, a goal scorer, and now dropping very deep to help out in defence. And her eyeballs look fine. Clemisha. But it's fallen to Millen, up towards Dunn. I'd love to see her marks count at the end of today. She's been prolific. Just over the back, cleared Henning as well. Went for the attempted punch. Doesn't make many errors of judgment. Comes back through to Dawson. Dawson through the middle. Goes over the head of Gow. Garton there to clean up behind the contest. Steps in 2 directions. And then found a good lead from Jane Childs. Been a little quieter in the second half, but she was all over it when it mattered. Behind the contest, Dargy chasing. Some good work in defence from Mallion. And we're over the paint. Boundary throw-in.
UQ's structure offensively is looking really nice, and Yeronga are doing a great job to mitigate that. Just staying very tight on the body. UQ trying to make a lot of strong drives, but they're sticking with them.
So they've got a bit of confidence now, has Yeronga. Chelsea Wynn crashing backwards through the contest, found Hewitt. Hewitt will keep it wide. Clemisha positioned herself well, just couldn't complete the mark. Back to Gilbert. Fumbles near the boundary. Steps inside Morisuti. Morisuti does enough to bring play to a halt. I can see you putting Clemisha in your 3-2-1s at the end of the game, Hannah, and I don't think you need to take personal bias into account. I think you're probably justified in that.
That is good to know because I am pretty transparent that is exactly what was going to happen.
So went over the head of Neary. Crashing through was Roy, and she was dispossessed immediately. Just getting into a bit of a tangle in the middle of the field. Yeronga tried to pounce. Couldn't quite make it work. Knife lets go. Ran in the wrong direction. Morisuti trickles towards the goal square. Henning's first to it. Morisuti followed up her own kick. Puts the pressure on well. Henning just did enough. Dawson following up. Breaks one tackle. Clears 50. Turns it over. Lee just got there on the half volley, but falls to win. She goes check side, looking to centre half forward. Over the back of the contest, Pulteney was nearly there. The free kick goes to Yeronga, to Charlie Hellier. To go from 0 to 2. We'll talk about the coaches' reactions in a moment. I don't want to talk too loudly because one of them's within listening distance. But Charlie Hellier, the servant of the club, goes to the right. It won't swing round. Just the minor score. But it's been Yeronga's quarter by some distance.
It absolutely has. Possibly for Ross Clayfield wondering what's dropped with his side. Because as we know, when you come up against those big three, a fourth quarter drop is not what you want.
So through the middle went Gracie Roy. Just cleverly getting a bit of thigh to it was Neary. Working through the middle was Shoering. Just got enough foot to it. Neary followed up. Howell was first to that ball until it spun away from her. Neary again, 3 times handling in the one play. Knife not able to break away, but actually she was. Got a handball through to Middleton. That's a superb tackle from Hill. Deemed no prior opportunity. And will the smoker please move away from the comm box? Honestly. Back to Middleton. Been good today. Shoering. Shoering can only click the contest. That's brilliant at the back. The mark from Burnett. Can play a bit higher on the wing. Gee, I love that kicking action. Make a statue of that.
Yeah, incredible vision and great execution.
Out to win. Conditions quite dark at the moment. If you have a player on the ground, that's Sienna Wilson just receiving attention in the middle of the park. Hellier has it at right half forward. Wilson will feel a lot better if her team can convert this inside 50 opportunity. Henning extracted the ball. Enough purple jerseys around it to clear.
We're going to have to stop play here because the ball is protruding near the injured Wilson, who's unable to move at this point. She's just got one leg out. Looks like they're treating the leg.
Unfortunately, didn't see the incident, but of course, if you're on YouTube, there probably won't be play for a minute or so, so feel free to just rewind back and see if you can pick up what happened. I love that we can do that and Channel 7 can't.
Oh, it's awesome.
But thoughts with Sienna Wilson at the moment?
Yeah, so this is going to put a little bit of a stop to the momentum of Yeronga. You'd have to think.
Can go the other way. It can give them, because they've just put a big, not just physical, but mental effort to really push in this fourth quarter and say, look, we are better than a one-point side. They've done that. Sometimes you can just be flagging as you get sort of, halfway through the quarter, and we're just coming up to that now as Sienna Wilson's helped from the field. And remember, they're one down on the bench, so at least, and I don't want to make a positive out of what is clearly a serious injury, but at least it only happened in the final quarter, so there's that. But no, it gives them a chance to say, okay, look at what we've done. We can build on this. For UQ, there's a couple of chances. If this is fatigue, then okay, they've put in the first part of the match, and that's just an S&C issue during the week. But if it's mental, then that is something that the coaching staff will be very, very, just replay the word very for a while, active on at training this week, because you're right. And when UQ were the top side, they did not switch off in fourth quarters. I'm not saying they did here, but the coaches will know. They will know if this is a mental switching off, and they'll take action.
They will, and that's probably been one of the things in this competition is every team has the ability to play great footy, but it's been the sides that can play it for the 4 terms that have been the ones to come away with the win after win. Yeronga, another one. I mean, this 4th term for them has been excellent. Point proven. But unfortunately for them, and you know, Mac has said this in the past, but it's just building it up to get it for the 4.
Well, Sophie Dunn's someone who hasn't had to turn it up in the 4th quarter because she's been there in the first 3 as well. Goes towards the contest, falls through everyone, went past Pulteney. Just fumbling in defence was Simpson, but did enough to free up Middleton. She'll get wide. Which is what you like to do from defence. Brave mark from Barnett. And either the mark's been paid or the free kick's been paid for being utterly pummeled by Georgia Hewitt.
Look, yeah, I'm happy with that decision because it was a late contact, and I think...
she wasn't going to get the ball and had time to pull out.
She did, and I think she should have. But good to see that Barnett is back up.
Been in the wars today, Barnett, but she's also got a hat trick, so take your pick. Glass half full, half empty. Childs and Howell brought to ground. Howell's been one of Yeronga's best today.
Absolutely. She's had a really good impact in what's been a battle today.
In fact, I'm pretty sure Stuart Mackay's named her in his best 6 in every game this season so far, and no argument from the big fat commentator. Charlotte Andrews weaving through traffic. Goes inside 50, was looking for the run of the forwards. Unable to find it, just went past Livingston before, apologies. And they've got the ball up inside 50 and a chance to settle things down and make sure that the yelling is kept to a minimum at training.
So 2 goals to zip in this quarter to Yeronga.
Squirts past Harris. Hewitt goes centrally, didn't really have many options there, had to kick across the face of goal. It's worked out well enough. Sanchez went without it. UQ with an opportunity. That's a goal-saving tackle. I think it was Chelsea Wynn who not only brought it to ground, they're allowed to play on through Howells, but no advantage that's brought back. Chelsea Wynn made the tackle and then got the hand onto the disposal. Class act.
So just over 7 minutes now. They've had a cracking start to this final term. Unfortunately, that one will just fall short. So UQ will look to get one of their own in the last. And Knife takes a great possession.
Positioned herself well, didn't she?
She did. And she got the distance. Knife, big swing. It'll go low though. And that one will go straight out to the left.
On the basis of that kick, she didn't hit it properly, and it still went about 30 metres. I reckon she's got a 40-metre kick in her.
I don't see why not.
I think, like, not today. You know, it'll take a bit of work, but if she can work on that and start bombing goals from the edge of the forward 50, that's a weapon.
It is. Absolutely is.
The usual tangle, about 20 from goal, in front of the what is now an unreadable scoreboard. Falls out the back to Childs. Her acceleration was fast, but so was Jamie Howell, who was standing a metre away from her. I'd pay to watch those two over 100 metres. Garton collects her own ruck in the end, wrapped up by Howell and Maligan. Just fumbled away by Dunn at the back, but no real damage done, and in the end cleared by Wynn, who's had to drop back. To the contest, outnumbered, and it's Hill who hacked it outside 50, picked up by Harris, who's been quite serviceable today with limited opportunities. Turned over. Back into the contest. It's very, very, very congested. Most players on the ground are in your shot at the moment. Well, not anymore. They were a second ago. Good work by Millen to take it outside of 50. Childs bringing it back in. Kicks in the space under pressure. Went over the top of Barnett and Dunn, who may well have been Yeronga's best today. Kicked it away, so it'll count as an ineffective disposal. And I'll just go across to Hannah in a moment. We'll see how this inside 50 entry goes. Childs. Got the handball forward. Mallion, handballs away. Half cleared. Coming back inside through Simpson. Simpson's kick is a great grubber, but turned over, contact over the shoulder, free kick, Yeronga, Hannah Davies.
So this win for UQ today will serve them very nicely because where they're sitting on the ladder is below Coorparoo and directly Wollston Grange, who both have suffered losses today. Coorparoo looks to be 20-79 at the hands of Southport, and then Wollston Grange 80-15. So we weren't joking about the big three, but this will do good things for UQ. And as I'll come back to that.
As the ball was turned over, went to Gracie Roy, kicked it away to Burnett, just dropped the ball, which is a little dewy now. There's no rain around, but in this part of the year when the humidity's up, taken by Millen in the middle. Keeps it central, picked off by Chelsea Wynn. But you're right, there's 5 teams in this comp who believe they're good enough for 4th place. UQ's one of them, but they've lost to 2 other sides who have a claim on that position.
Yes, that 4th position is anyone's game, really. And Coorparoo is sitting in it pretty comfortably right now, but the loss today and the win for UQ should give them some confidence.
The draws favoured Coorparoo in that they don't have to play, well, Southport today and then Aspley next week. Mind you, they did beat Bond, which even when they don't have their academy players is not something a lot of teams do. Taken by Neary. As the chains of possession haven't really come. Looks towards Gow. Cleverly had behind her Knife. Found a good bit of space, but can only get it to Howe. Lunson. Beautiful second effort from Knife. And Jamie Howe gets her mug on the camera.
Plenty of fire in that contest down there.
Yeah, Yeronga's start to the 4th quarter gave an absolute, just a spark to the whole contest.
He has. I think UQ are a little bit shell-shocked right now. I don't think they were expecting this kind of lift from Yeronga.
You mentioned earlier they'd scored very early in all 3 quarters before now. And here we are. Only 2.5 minutes remaining, and they've been scoreless in this quarter. Comes out to Lunson right in front of us. Looked for Poultney inside. Knife picked it off. Fell through to McCabe. McCabe looking for the target of Middleton. Didn't get that far, but gets to her eventually through Dargy. Barnett looking for space. Just got the possession away from Howe. Middleton stepped through one. Handball. Looking for Livingston. Over in space to Simpson. Simpson steps. Gabby Simpson. Oh, Hannah, I'm sorry.
Oh, it was incredible to watch, though. I'll tell you that. I was enjoying just being a spectator of that.
It's an historic moment. It's going to be on social media because even if AFLQ don't, and they will, Hannah will, I will. But I got a brief chance to, I don't know Gabby, but I got a brief chance to chat with her pre-season, and what she said she was loving about footy was that she was able to make rapid improvements, whereas in netball, because she was at such a high level, she was doing a lot of work to make these really incremental, tiny improvements. But now...
Well, when you're an Australian diamond, I mean, it is literally 0.5 percenters. But you're right. I think her potential, the upside of Gabby Simpson is going to be enormous, particularly in this side like UQ.
Well, seems to be the home for ex-netballers.
It does. They've certainly got a smattering of them.
Andrews, Hicks, Dahad O'Brien.
Pionti. Condren, of course, as well. The list goes on.
It literally never stops. Actually, it figuratively never stops. UQ inside 50, looking across for Middleton. She steps inside. Beautiful step from Lauren Middleton. And suddenly, after being scoreless for this quarter, they've put 2 on in the last 2 minutes. And in fact, that'll be the last kick of the match.
Well, we were saying it was a bit of a shock for them, but those 2 consecutive goals certainly put them in good stead for the next match.
Well, before the siren goes, well, let's just give the final score. It's a win to the University of Queensland. They finished with a flourish. Bit of a hiccup to begin the fourth quarter, rather. But 9-9-63 to the students. 2-2-14 to the Yeronga Devils. The goals for UQ, there were 3 to Elka Barnett, 2 to Paige Livingston, 2 to Lauren Middleton, and then 1 each to Harriet Knife and some unknown named Gabrielle Simpson. The 2 goals for Yeronga rather was scored by Charlie Hellier and Maddie Sanchesiv. While Hannah's organising her 3-2-1s, I will say that what made the difference while the game was on the line was UQ's ability to keep turning over the ball really on halfway, sort of between 50 and 80 from goal, and keep pumping it in. It not only kept Yeronga out of scoring areas, but it also meant they were able to keep putting the pressure on. 9 goals, 9, that's a good day at the office for them. And comes off, even when they've been losing, they haven't been struggling to score goals. Hannah.
Yes, for UQ, look, it's tight to pick who was best on. I think overall they really just played as a unit. I think for me, it was always going to be Jane Childs. Her impact in and around the ball and decision-making skills are just spectacular. I also thought Clemisha clearly had a great game as ruck. Her vision and, like Simpson, her upside is going to be enormous. And Elka Barnett, she was relentless. What a physical and great performance from her. I thought she was awesome. For UQ, Daniel?
Yeah, Jane Childs best on ground. Quieter in the second half, but when the game was there to be won, she was the most influential player. 2 to Elka Barnett, who just creates so much in attack. And I realise you shouldn't do this when you're actually giving Zilke medal votes, but it's always fine when you're in a commentary box and it's all care and no responsibility. 1 point to Sophie Dunn, because I thought she was Yeronga's best on ground, and her ability to keep working, keep affecting the contest, keep putting the work in to get to the contest. She improves every time I see her, and she was working from a pretty high base last year. Still a teenager. I'm looking forward, still 17 in fact. I'm looking forward to seeing what I hope is a long career for her in the Bond University QAFLW or wherever else she chooses to play.
And Jamie Howe for me was the other one I had written down. I feel like week after week she just never gives up. And I think in a side like Yeronga, where you are going to go into a lot of these games thinking, can we get the win, can we not? She's one of those players that goes in thinking, well, regardless of the scoreline around me, I can beat my player, which is so important, that mindset in a team like Yeronga who, will struggle this year. But I thought, what a fourth quarter comeback. I think they certainly gave viewers a reason to keep watching. So full credit to Yeronga. But that brings us to the end of our broadcast. It has been Indigenous Round here at University of Queensland. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Hannah Davies. Thank you for being here. And Daniel Viles, thank you for being here as well.
Always a pleasure.